into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I'm shaking my head more.
I know.
Wait.
Should we shake our heads?
Wait, so we don't have to do the shoulders?
No,
okay.
no, we didn't.
Shoulders are back.
I'm sorry.
Shoulders are back.
I'm just having a little bit of a spaz moment right now. It's over. Hey guys, this is the season finale of Suits. Okay, sorry, I need to
What is
calm
that
down.
sexy voice?
I
Like,
know. It's
Sex-
more retail.
Hello, everyone.
Hey guys,
Welcome
thanks
to
for joining us.
Suits.
I'm Stacy Ike. We are here for the season finale of Suits. I am slightly depressed. You guys know I'm very emotional when it comes to this show. So, finale, of course, that means that I am very emotional. So anyway, I'm here with my amazing full panel tonight because we had to ring in the end together. Introduce yourself to
Yeah.
us.
Hey everyone, Nicole Brajer. Good to be back at the last episode of Suits for this season. Looking forward to the summer to hang out with you all.
Yeah.
Hopefully I lose 5 pounds and I have extra tan on me by then.
And hello, everyone. I'm Tiona Hobson. Happy to be here. Sad that the show's over for now, but
I know.
excited for the summer.
So short.
Yeah,
really
Short
was.
season.
I was actually just talking to a couple of the producers outside where they were like, wait, you guys are on episode
Yeah,
16?
we were, like,
you
just here.
You
Yeah.
just started. And then I was
Yeah.
like, well, no, they go 10 and 6. And they're like, why not 8 and 8?
I know.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
8 and 8 could be cool because then we could feel a little bit more balance on it
But
because
I don't
like we
know.
just got
Ask
back a couple
USA,
weeks
you
ago.
know?
But
Hey, USA.
Did you want to introduce yourself, by
I
the way?
guess. I forgot how
This works?
Yeah.
Because it's only been 6 episodes that
We've
we've
been
know,
talking
right?
about the episode, by the way, for the last 15 minutes. But okay.
You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is KAUFMANN. I am retweeting the link right now. So given the delay, if you click it, you'll probably just be seeing me and getting exactly what you want.
Yes. And for all the YouTubers out there, please talk to us. I'm following you guys on my laptop here. I think Steve is as well. So we'll try to answer your questions, being that this is the finale.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
gotta give the fans
I have
what
my
they
phone charged as well, so at one take Stace, you guys, we're like looking down because we just really want to hear what you guys are thinking too. But anyway,
Yeah.
so let's tackle this one good time before the summer comes, the finale. Okay, we're on episode 16. It ended, and my boy's going to prison.
Did you?
What are we thinking?
Well,
and did you see that coming?
So, just to tell everybody over here, I don't get to watch it with them, so I'm wondering what they're thinking. I'm not able to talk to you guys while we're all tuning in. But did you guys think, going into this episode, were you like 50-50 about Mike going to prison, or did you know for sure, being that I also wasn't here last week, that there was maybe a chance that he wasn't?
I was 50-50.
I was 80-20.
Of him actually going to prison, this show, there's so much that happens in one episode.
Yeah.
And I mean, the previews all said someone's going to prison, but who will it be? So in my head, I was 50-50 because last week they set it up that Mike's going to prison. So I was like, so obviously there's going to be a twist where someone else
is going,
ends
right.
up going. And then I heard that Katrina was going to be back on the episode. I was
Right.
like, maybe they can blame it all on her or something. I don't know.
That would be nice.
So I think I was 50-50,
Okay.
but I knew someone was going to jail. In my pit of my stomach, I was like, it would be pretty crappy for Mike to let anyone else go to jail
Right.
for something he did.
Well,
I don't think he
I
would.
thought Batman was gonna go, but
I didn't think
Harvey.
he was gonna let anybody else go. I just thought it would be like totally, just a really great spin because this show is really good at that. But I was more 80-20. I just did not see the prison thing really happening. I know we've talked about it, but like I said, I'm so used to the spin, the really quick. All of a sudden, the last 15 minutes. By the way, actually, Forsman's back. I don't know, know.
But I actually liked what happened.
That
which
they just
was
let it right out.
That it was like, no, he's taking responsibility for his actions.
Yeah, and
He's
it made me
going to
fall in
prison.
love with Mike so much. I mean, I usually am like Team Harvey over Team Mike if you had to separate the dynamic
bromance.
duo, the bromance, exactly. But before I say that, I wanted to say that I thought Harvey was definitely going to go to and take the bullet for him. But then immediately when this episode opened, you just like felt Mike's passion to not want to screw anyone into the ground, and he was not gonna let any of them stand in his way.
Speaking of that, it was interesting because we kind of talked about the couple pictures that have been circulating, with Harvey and Mike's last moment, and there's this like cheesy photo of them laughing. I'm like, this isn't funny, but anyway, he's kind of going to prison. But there's that moment where Mike says, "It's not your fault. I'm the one who convinced you to do it," and he was like, "Yeah, I made the call," and it just really took me all the way back to episode 1, season 1, and you're like, so. Is it Harvey? Like,
because everyone was blaming Harvey.
Yeah,
this
and
episode,
I was like, is it?
Everyone was saying it was his fault.
Much. I mean, you guys had 6 years together, kicking ass in New York, and just having such an incredible time as this duo and as part of this firm. Does it go back to Harvey at all? In you guys' opinion, like, what do you think? Just because he hired, if he didn't hire him, what the hell would the show be about? Well,
Harvey knowingly hired a fraud, and that was his crime.
Okay.
But Mike was the fraud.
Right.
And Mike has always had the moral high ground over Harvey.
Right.
So this was a perfect way to end. Of just like, I convinced you to hire me. I'm the ultimate wrong, and I'm accepting those responsibilities.
With that high ground comment, he sure made like a point when he punched Harvey in the face multiple times tonight too.
Well, you provoke a person.
Yeah, but did we think he had it in him? Even his own family members weren't sure if he was going to be able to stand on his own 2 feet in jail, including Mrs. Danner. Is that how you pronounce it? Is it Danner?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me, I'm not worried about Mike in jail for like physical altercations because he can mind psych anyone else out and talk his way out of any situation, basically lawyer himself up in there. So I was never really concerned about him surviving prison.
Right. I'm more concerned about Rachel now.
Well, and I think the key about prison is it's never actually like surviving everyone else that's in prison, the guards, the other people. It's surviving yourself, which is where I think Mike is actually going to be the strongest because he willingly made a choice of just like, no, I'm a liar, I'm a fraud, I put my friends in harm's way, and the only way to get them out is to spend 2 years in prison.
Hey, my dad.
So he can live with himself every day.
Right after that. No,
would you guys do that at the end of the day? When something's ultimately your fault, this and that.
Girl,
we've seen these.
Don't we put on the spot right now?
I would do the right thing.
Right, but here's my point: is that Mike had every opportunity to make it so that he didn't have to go, and he knew that. Even having Harvey run after him in the elevator and almost get there to save his ass. But God, where was I going with that? It was like a change of character for Mike, which again is why I fell in love with him in this episode, because him and Harvey are so used to getting what they want. It's nice to see them finally do the right thing. Yeah. The morally conscious decision.
I was just thinking, like, at the end when Harvey gets in the car and goes with Mike to take him to jail, sorry to jump ahead. I was actually kind of like, man, you know what would be awesome? They should both just go to jail together and have like a little bromance in jail. Oh man! Like you both are wrong for what you did.
Right. A lot of people have bromances in jail.
Yeah, it's like it's called something else though, right?
Harvey can't. Like they can't both go though.
Yeah, but I just gotta put someone back in the firm to get some people back in the door, which was shocking, by the way. I feel like anyone watching didn't expect that at all. Sorry, I jumped ahead so much. Oh my god!
But while we're circling to it, if you were anyone who worked at that firm for specifically the last 6 episodes,
you'd leave too.
Your resume was updated.
Yeah.
You were hedging your bet. Like you
had already been sending out feelers.
You're like, okay, who wants me?
You're like,
where was Gretchen though, sitting at her desk, be like, I'm the only one here.
Right.
Even the front desk girls were gone. Like when you pissed off even the people who are answering the phones, like. Hello. Clearly, even they didn't want their name associated with this firm anymore.
Right. Okay, so
the mail guy, the mail boys are gone. No one to deliver the mail.
That was serious.
To be fair, they didn't check the mailroom.
They didn't check the mailroom.
There might still be people in the mailroom that are now name partners.
Actually,
Pearson Specter lit. Joe from accounting.
Okay, with this, let's really get started. Now let's really get started because this was a part that I really struggle with, and I think because we've already jumped around, let's just please have fun with that. Would you have had more faith in yourself than Mike did? Like, Rachel was really pounding that in, and I was so nervous because I'm like, okay, what would I have done? Like, I love that Nicole said, would you have done the right thing? And I think I agree with Tiona. I think I would have liked to say I would. Okay, so then the second part of that, would you have waited for the verdict? I mean, I have no idea.
I have anxiety, and I understand why Mike did what he did.
I
have that anxiety too, but I'm pragmatic enough to it's not compartmentalization as much as avoidance. That if I knew, okay, there's nothing I can do, I would literally play video games or watch a show or
try to get your mind off it, and
or
let
take NyQuil and go to sleep
and go to bed. Oh my gosh, yes.
Until the phone wakes me up and tells me that jury is done. Like, I would do everything I could to avoid any possibility of me doing something rash and desperate and quick.
Right. And I think that for me, if I wanted to have taken a deal, I would have done it before. And once I've decided that I'm going to go through with the trial, then I'm going to let the system play out itself. Because I watched that trial, and I didn't even know who won that case. Right. And if the jury looks at it, it's like you have to be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that he actually did this and is guilty. And I think that Mike was able to put that seed of a doubt. And we talked about this while we were watching the episode. Her case, like Steve said, her case wasn't a good case against Mike because she was so focused on outside factors.
Trying to make sure that Jessica and Harvey went down.
All of the things that could have taken down Mike, she traded away in an attempt to try to take down the firm.
You heard the audio fade out when she was making her point to the jury, and it made you think, like, wow, Mike didn't even say that much, but it was such a strong point. I wish that he felt that too, because I feel like everyone else, his support system did, but that even wasn't enough, and that sucks.
Yeah.
But also, much like Katrina is a product of Lewis, Mike is a product of Harvey.
Of course.
And what's the one thing Harvey never did? Made it to a jury, made it to a verdict.
Right.
He always cut a deal.
Wow. So, I like that point a lot.
That's literally what he knows.
Yeah.
He knows if you're a good enough lawyer, you should never be going to a jury. You should never be going to trial.
You shouldn't just let some random 12 people hold your fate. I guess, in a sense.
But that's ultimately putting it up to a lot more chances than you should be willing to do.
Right.
Like, as a poker player, I do that a lot, where you minimize. Like, I've folded winning hands to winning situations. Because I didn't like my variables moving forward.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, but then I have to contend with you in position on me.
Right.
With a chip stack for 3 more cards. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'd rather wait.
Fold.
Right.
I'd rather wait until I'm at an advantageous position.
Right. Wow. Okay.
All these big words. Jeez. Gosh.
I love that point though, because it was very interesting just seeing like the prodigy of Lewis and how far she's come in a sense, even though really she's on another show. But like, you know,
how far she's come all the way to
sci-fi. Right, all the way there and back.
Hey, Amanda.
Right. She's so freaking cute though. Like,
beautiful.
I've really grown to love her, because I think when I first met her season 2 or whatever, I was like, I don't like her at all, but it just, now I realize, like, I separate her character from her as an actor.
The way that she approached her conversation with him, it was just, she acted very innocent, you know, like, this is like, what you telling me? I just did it to get ahead,
you don't
Lewis.
Have to do this. And
I just did it to get ahead. It's like, nah, bitch, you like went behind Lewis's back, and like, I'm just glad that Lewis didn't screw anything up, you know. I can't, because I had my doubts about him, especially with the recording and everything like that. You know, I'm kind of going back to last week, but I mean, you know, you always predict that Lewis is going to screw something up, so I'm happy that it wasn't him.
I didn't know what I was to expect when, you know, he was in Robert Zane's office. I was like, what is happening here? What is this about?
Yeah, but when he went into Katrina's office, all I could think was, clearly she's recording you because she just flat out is asking you. As soon as someone admits what they did, it's like, okay, well, great. Now they have that on a recording or something like that can be used against you. I know that you know that she already knows, but you didn't have to flat out say, yes, I knew. You could have just given her like a look of like, you know me.
Right.
Like,
relationship.
Shrug your shoulders, Lewis.
Yeah. And why hasn't he learned that? He's done it to so many people.
Although, to be fair, the situation was pretty rare. Well, no, the situation was rare. Mike had pled guilty. Everybody knew Mike pled guilty. So him admitting that he was a fraud was pretty murky legal waters.
No, he was admitting that he used it to get his name on the door, which is that he knew.
Mm-hmm.
But I
think that was more.
But admitting that he knew is still fairly murky legal waters because what?
Because everyone knows.
Because everyone knows that everyone knows now. So, but I know admitting that
he
I think
used
it
it to
puts
get
more
his
of a
name.
timeline on it.
It puts a timestamp on it.
Exactly, and that. It's such a far time stamp, like enough where we're like, so you knew for a whole season, kind of thing, you know. But anyway, so we're kind of circling around. I don't know. I guess I'm just still nervous. Not nervous, but I guess I'm still just like so speechless by the fact that the verdict was non guilty. You know, and
I was too,
and that I just did not see that coming. And
I sort of did, especially when Harvey even got the opportunity to talk to somebody from the jury. I was like, oh shit, here we go. We're gonna find out that he was innocent or, you know, not found guilty. So I mean, I wasn't that surprised. I foresaw that a little bit.
And Tiona and I were talking about this right before it happened, where I was like, it's a hung jury. It's gotta be a hung jury.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely a hung jury.
And then it wasn't.
Because it has the same effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we know Gibbs wouldn't have been able to retry.
Right.
And a hung jury would have been the same as not guilty.
Right.
Yeah.
But for it to just be flat out not guilty,
he would have just like
lived
his life.
Because it sounds like the jury foreman was the only person, as he said, that agreed with Gibbs that, like, no, but he's guilty though.
Yeah.
And that he probably went 12 rounds with the other 11 people and eventually conceded that by the eyes of the law, Gibbs did not prove this beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
I'm the only person who has to concede.
Yeah, and there was like a good quote, you know, or somebody said like, well, that's, you know, the power of the justice system, you know, and then you got to trust it, and that's the whole reason for a trial and getting to say your piece, you know. No, and them being such great lawyers, I think everybody foresaw that because they always are doing not necessarily the wrong thing, but the shady thing, and taking deals and going behind people's backs. Yeah, so they didn't. Yeah,
they really didn't expect it.
They didn't use.
Let me just play devil's advocate about the jury foreman. The saying goes that a trustworthy mechanic is rare. Do you think he lied to Harvey just to lie to Harvey?
No, because you could see the passion that
he was.
He was
like
pissed.
he was like angry that he didn't get a guilty.
Right. He was like, "Listen, I wanted your boy to be guilty. Okay, I'm not trying to help you out at all. I just want you to know that I wasn't going to let him be guilty just to be guilty." I'm
not saying there was much to advocate for the devil. I was saying I'm going to be devil's advocate.
Right. The devil doesn't need your help.
Well, I just feel like Harvey's got so much to clean up for the new season. I mean, I just feel like so many fingers were pointed at him this episode, and so like, this is your fault. This is you.
Who
it's like
did that though?
Everybody. I even wrote it down. I'm like, everybody's saying it's Harvey's fault.
Because to me, like, Jessica was on his back.
Jessica said it. Lewis said it. I feel like Donna even flipped out on him at one point. That's enough for me.
Yeah, no, I get. Okay, I get what you're saying, but I feel like most of the time they were saying it was out of like anger or scared or whatever. I don't think anybody. I think at the end of the day, there was a lot of like, listen, we're family. We got to do what we have to do. I mean, as sad and tragic as that end scene was in terms of that being an empty firm, you saw the people standing, and those three have figured out crap before, and I don't know what we're coming back to for the next season. I really don't, but I'm very excited to see that. With that said, I just want to circle a little bit to Mike and Rachel and give that, like, you know, your 72-hour, what did you feel?
I felt so many
very 3 days.
As I was sitting alone and watching them have sex alone, I was like, why am I not with them? There's a sex scene and I'm alone, and I got to enjoy it.
Oh, with us.
Yes.
Oh, with us.
I thought you wanted in the scene. I was like,
weird.
No, I didn't want to be involved in a threesome with Mike and Rachel, even though that would be kind of cool. No, I wanted to be with you guys.
I don't know which one's worse.
I know. I'm like,
I wanted to be watching them have sex while holding you guys' hands.
Right, it's like,
I was a little awkward for me to be alone. I just wanted to like see your reactions.
Yeah.
Did you guys find this sexy?
We did have some very interesting reactions.
Did you guys think it was weird?
Well,
no.
Did you think they were making a baby?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think. Okay, so
that's the first thing out of my mouth.
So right, let's because we heard what Rachel said in terms of, you know, I want us to be one, and what was everyone's, you know, one word, one sentence reaction to that? Mine was, oh, you just want to get pregnant now. So
oh, that was yours.
That was my
mine
first thing
was
I thought.
Marriage.
Yeah.
Mine was put a baby in me.
Yeah.
My initial thought was more just deeper of just like, I want to be one with you, and like I want to express
sex.
Well, yeah, I would like to express my love with you physically. But then Tiona said make a baby, and I was like, oh, that's what she meant.
Right.
Oh no.
We speak women, I guess. I don't know, but
Well, that's what I said. I was like, oh, Tiona speaks Rachel.
And like, I don't know if that's actually what she meant, because I would actually much rather prefer it to be like an accidental pregnancy thing where she's just like, I just want to be one with you. But when someone says I want to be one with you, gives you those sexy eyes, and then you climb on top of him and start riding his heart. I realized I was getting like really graphic.
Yeah, if you want.
You know, and then you
His
start
fountain
doing
pen.
that. then all I'm thinking is, girl, you gonna end up pregnant. This is the one right
Right
here. 'Cause
here.
I was like, of all the times, this is gonna be the one, because he's about to go to jail,
I'm
and
sure
you're gonna be
there-
alone.
I love
I didn't
it.
see no time to whip out no protection. That's all I'm gonna say.
Absolutely not.
So Mike had one episode to be a prison inmate, and he's already got a baby mama.
Right.
Yeah,
He did.
exactly.
He almost had a wife. I mean,
He knows what
are
he's
they
doing.
still
Going
He's
to
got a failed
jail.
engagement. He's
Are
got
they
a baby
still
mama.
considered
He's
fiance? And are they still engaged?
Yeah, I
yes,
would say they are.
But fiance isn't a legal title.
No, I know. I
But
just
yeah,
didn't
but
know
they're
if like.
still engaged.
Okay. With that said, okay, so now we get a little bit of Rachel. We see her reaction. We understand that she was mad. I actually, this is the one time, not that it's the only time, but I was mad with her. I mean, damn, Mike. You know, now that we know what happened.
You're mad
whatever.
with Mike.
I was mad at Mike when I felt for Rachel.
Did you guys read, by the way, on some comments, not last episode before, that the fans think that we hate on Rachel too much?
Yeah,
Yes,
that.
I-
Okay.
We don't. We're just critical because we really love her.
For the record,
actually.
I've taken those comments personally, and every time I have a negative response to Rachel, I have to really filter it down. And then still ultimately find a negative response. but I do take that in. Like, am I just hard on Rachel to be hard on Rachel?
No.
And then every time I'm
No.
like, but this is Mike's show though.
Right.
And she just keeps coming in and kind of being not the fun police, but like he comes up with okay, no, that makes sense, and then she's like, no, but I want that.
Right. It's like, okay, but Tiona, you were about to ask me something or something. I said I was mad at Michael, and you said, I don't know.
But were you mad at him before we found out that he was going to be found innocent or not guilty? Because she was mad at him before that decision came back.
Right,
so were you there
right.
with her at that point?
I was there with her at that point. I think after, when the lie happened, I was like, I didn't know where I was then, honestly. But when Rachel first expressed her, you did not believe in yourself, you told me, I was like, you really didn't, dude. Like, you just, you got to start, he just did not communicate a lot.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, that's the kind of man I am. He said I counted like 15 eyes this episode. And I don't think I've ever really seen, he just was so individual.
No we,
yeah,
yeah,
like it was no we. And I'm like, dude,
No,
this
I
is
felt-
2
I
years
felt
of her
her-
life too.
Yeah, I felt her frustration completely.
Yeah.
Start to finish this entire episode. Team Rachel for this episode, fans, all right?
For sure.
Because it's important to be listening to your future wife, and if you're claiming that you love her so much and you're telling everybody else at the firm that all you're concerned about is her, but when they're not seeing you sitting and waiting for your verdict, you're doing other things, you take on the case, like it's like, and she comes back with this bag of food to have her final moments with you, and then to hear your verdict that you screwed over. I mean, he totally screwed up with his relationship in this episode. So moving forward, do I think that like Mike and Rachel will be together ultimately forever? Yes, because they're family and they've always wrote it out this far. But
Steve's like, really?
you don't. I just don't. I don't know about marriage, and like when she's studying and finishing law school, another guy come in and So there's a lot to think about.
But realistically, think of where you were 2 years ago.
I was in a relationship.
But like,
And now I'm not.
I wasn't. I was speaking rhetorically for the record. But like,
Case point.
people.
That's what I
I'm like,
The
so
girls,
forever
see,
isn't
the
gonna
girls
be forever.
knew. I know exactly.
As I said that, I was like, you've known Nicole more than 2 years. Like, you've known Nicole long enough to know that
to
span.
know that, right. So do we think that, I don't know, I mean, I don't want to get into predictions, we still have a couple things to talk about, but is a 2-year possibility worth the wait for Rachel?
If
Tiona.
they can survive this trial, and if they can survive while he's in prison, then yeah, I think that you make it through these 2 years, you're set for life. But
Absolutely.
are these 2 years going to be easy? No. Ask Piper and her husband on Orange is the New Black. Like,
They did not make
you
it
know,
past
like
the
just
month.
look at it's always a challenge. Plus, she has law school, which, you know, more than 50% of relationships that start are that if you enter law school or medical school in a relationship, those relationships are statistically not going to last. So you have that. Plus, he's in prison. Plus, it's, you know, far away. It's New York. Like, she got to get up there to see you. And like,
plus he left her at the altar.
yeah. Plus, he left you at the altar.
But she
She
like that decision. I think
it was a
loves
mutual
him.
decision.
But
But
you guys, she loves him so much that she would give up law school for him. She would have a baby and a family, I feel, over law school for Mike. I
her
feel like
parents will never talk to her again.
But F the parents, because like at this point it's her life, and if that was the case, I feel that she'd be cool with it.
I think she'd be okay with it too.
I mean, I can agree with that. I don't know. Like, the fact that, because you're saying it was a mutual decision. I'm like, was it? Or did Mike say, listen, I'm trying to protect you. I think we should bow out. And she was like, okay, yeah, you're right. I really didn't want to do this.
I mean, I don't think it's that she didn't want to
No,
do it. I
you're
think
right,
it's
but, like,
just
I think
that,
she was like-
you know, she realized too, hey, you know, we kind of forced my parents to come here. Everyone went to go talk to them. I don't want to get married with my parents not happy. This isn't the wedding Rachel has wanted her whole life.
Yeah.
This is a quickie fix to a
She's
situation.
not going to see it that way. I guarantee you, at least for the first like 5 episodes of next season, she's going to see it as he left me. Why did he leave me? What? I thought everything was going
Yeah.
perfect.
You think
What is?
so?
Absolutely.
But she, like, hugged him and was like, I'll see you in 2 years. Like,
I don't.
No, but there wasn't really a goodbye.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. But okay, BN Phrase on YouTube. You've been quite feisty tonight with all of your comments, and you're correcting people how to spell, and you're saying a baby is no life, and then you're saying that you're just so negative. No offense, but a baby is a life to people, right? I mean, like women do stop their lives to have children and raise children. So
Sure.
let me say that. And let the panel agree with me. However, somebody said something that's totally accurate. Holy crap, where is it? Did you read it, Steve?
I don't know.
Oh, they said Rachel being pregnant will not allow her to finish law school. So, yeah. I said that
that's
too.
tying into
that's not necessarily
that's
true.
tying into a prediction I have that we're just
Oh,
going
you
to
do?
hold
Okay,
on
great.
to.
Then let's hold on to it.
That's
Okay.
a little
I don't think that's
sexist.
Yeah,
that
I'm
a
like, I
pregnant
don't
woman
think that's
can't
true,
finish
but
law school.
that's okay. We'll put that on.
Can I say one
Real
more thing
quick.
from the chat?
Okay.
Okay, well, yeah, I was going to say, Assy Queen says to me, Nicole, then Rachel will blame Mike for everything that has happened to her like she did with the dream wedding. And yes, I agree with that, because she's been, at this point, following Mike's lead.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I could see her breaking, but I could see her just, like, I don't know.
But Mike
this
was
is so
taking the dream.
tough.
Mike was taking the dream wedding away from her anyway.
Yeah.
Also, does anybody else want to be a fly on the wall for that reception?
What?
That groomless reception with a bunch of partners at a law firm that's going to be dismantled the next day.
Yeah, it was quite awkward
Yeah.
and quite,
What
like,
were
dark.
what were they serving?
I know.
Where
like,
was it? Was it just in that chapel? Oh man.
Probably bagels. That's it. That's as much
Bagels?
as they could do. You know, that's all they've been through.
I love
What do we
it.
think
I've
about
chosen the fish.
Jack Soloff's resignation letter? Do we see that coming? Did we think he was
I
actually
didn't
going to
see
be?
that coming.
I thought he was on the team.
Me too.
Like, what the heck?
the team, but
really
I'm-
a team player.
The Titanic is sinking, guys.
I
Are you going to be the
know.
band that's still there playing the violin, or are you going to be the old grumpy man who pushes a wife and her kid out the way and get on the lifeboat?
I need to rewatch
Yeah.
the show. I mean, the
Like
movie.
the
That's what I need to watch.
I
Like,
didn't even watch that show.
because I do remember the violinist, and I was like, get your word.
No, they went down with the ship, and
Right.
Jack Soloff is not a ride or die bitch.
Right.
Just saying it. He's not ride or die.
But he gave us so much last couple
Yeah, he was
episodes. Like,
loyal.
it was kind of like up and down, and then he said, listen, I'm giving you. He gave her the envelope. I mean,
But
I didn't.
I think he
I mean, then he
understands.
played her
Yeah,
with
but
it.
he understands that that's not actually in the nuclear fallout where they are right now.
It
That
doesn't
that's
even
not
matter.
actually an option.
Right.
But he played it out pretty well.
He did.
Yeah,
I
Stephen Gordon
agree.
on YouTube says that's his way off the show, and I agree too. It's like, bye.
I don't think it is.
No.
They still don't know what his actual crime
Yeah.
is, and they made a point to bring
That's a
up
good
that it's
point.
not just a tiny fraction of a thing. It's an actual legit crime that
Right.
he committed. They made a point to say that, so I don't think that's the last we're seeing.
So
I think
so we're gonna arise more crimes that have gone on and just or just take the focus on someone else.
Well, I think at some point their paths are going to cross again, and then Jessica's going to have that over his head.
Right. But what I love is that when Jack came on the first, whatever season he was on, it seemed very temporary, and it also just kind of seemed like out of nowhere. And now I've really grown to understand him as a character and like where he plays in, what I mean? I was like, wow, like even his resignation letter did something for me. I'm like, wait, he's leaving? Like, how do we feel? Whatever. So I would be very interested to see where he plays into the next season and how we cross paths, because I do agree with that. Is it working with Daniel? Is it working with Robert? Who is he working with? Like, what's his
Zane,
next step?
he said he took a job with Zane.
Who knows? Boy, we don't know if we could trust Jack. Like, what do you guys? We don't know if we trust Zane taking anybody from.
What do you guys think of Zane and like his whole way of dealing with this entire trial?
First of all, I've just always wanted him and Jessica to make out. I don't know
too.
why. Whenever they're in rooms together, and it's like we've known each other a long time.
To me now. No,
I don't know. There's something about their relationship that I want it to happen, but then it's Rachel's dad, so I know he's happily with her mom.
I feel the sexual tension.
It's a little bit there.
I say the weirdest things on the show, and you guys think I'm crazy, but because everybody's so beautiful and well dressed, it's hard not to think these
like,
things.
They should be together.
Yeah.
But I also would like to see him kind of working with Jessica and Pearson Specter lit. Like, I think that him buying them out or something and kind of multimedia branching or something, I don't know.
I was really hoping to see a little bit more of a dad and less of a lawyer from him, because I get it. He should be pissed. Like, really, he should be so pissed. But and then, like, I understand why he's mad at Jessica. Like, you knew that's about to be my son-in-law. You could have told me.
Yeah.
I appreciate that and everything he said. I understand. But then you saw Rachel and it's like, dude, come a little bit more of a father. And then, like, seeing her mom be tough this episode was different because, I wanted to see if she was ever going to ask, hey, remember when you told me you had that secret in the kitchen 3 seasons ago? And you said it wasn't that bad? Well, hey.
Exactly.
Yeah, should have told me. Or, I would have loved, she already knew. I would have liked to see if that could have played out. But, that's another point. But just in general, it was interesting to see her parents, and they were very important this episode. And I don't know what
I think they had the proper response. I think my parents would have had the same reaction.
Yeah.
And
like, you totally lied.
Yeah, and like, you're a fraud. You're not real. How can we trust you? How can we trust you with our daughter? What are you gonna do with your life when you get out of prison?
Seriously,
how must they feel having Rachel be at that firm, and will probably still be working with them come next season? With a bunch of people who kept the secret and lied, I mean,
But they did it for
the sake of the firm.
That's well, and then, but Zane also brought the great point up is, like, how will she stand up to an ethics board?
That was interesting, but but her response was cool too. She was like, that is the definition.
Yeah.
Is that the definition, or was she just talking?
She's stretching it, but it's still in there.
Idealistically, she's correct. Idealistically, if you stand in front of an ethics board and prove argumentatively
that I'm that much,
that I have that many ethics, that I committed my life to a person, and that's where it is.
Sorry, I have a question.
I love it.
So if she was already a lawyer and then married a felon, would she have to go in front of the same ethics board at that point? Because what they're saying is, because she's going to marry a felon and then go in front of them, she's going to have some splaining to do.
Right.
So if she was already a lawyer and then you marry someone who commits fraud and gets sent to jail, and
I think that's
you stay married to them.
My assumption is that it's harder to disbar a lawyer than it is to approve a lawyer.
Okay.
Like, it's easier to come up with a reason to not make someone a lawyer than it is to disbar someone who's already gone through the process.
Totally agree.
Specifically, someone linked to the person who literally circumvented the whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. I'm just wondering, because, like, that's kind of shady that she can be married to a felon, just not before she's a lawyer.
Right, right. But now that she's not going to be married to him, I guess we'll have to see, where this plays out, and if the lawyer thing happens in 2 years, or whatever the case is. And, with that, I really want to bring up the Gibbs Liberty Rail nonsense. Like, what was it? Did we forget about that case completely?
Yeah, somebody in the chat even was like, what was with the
Liberty
Liberty
Rail
Rail
was-
stuff? And I'm
It was
like,
a
Liberty Rail
nice
was a bit of a deep
derail.
cut from the
yeah,
show.
literally
It
a
was
derail.
I was like, I don't know.
I don't care.
Who are these characters?
And then for it to not even play out, I was like,
I get it.
That didn't work.
I get it. It was
get
an
it.
important case.
Yeah.
It was the back pocket. It was
It's the
Harvey's
Hail
back
Mary.
pocket Hail Mary of like, one day I might need to throw away a bunch of
We
corporate
know
murderers.
about this case, though, right?
No,
Like, it
this
sounds
case was in the
familiar.
series. No,
okay. It
This was
sounded
an
very
important case.
familiar,
It was
yeah.
an important case, but it was a bit of a deep cut.
Yeah, I was like,
Like as far as the
Like,
memorable
who's
cases
this girl?
go.
I didn't even. Yeah, it was
I
a
thought she
little-
was gonna be the first girl that we thought was like the female Harvey, but then I stared. I'm like, that's not her. So anyway, with that said, but what Gibbs said to Harvey, what did you guys think when she said, "Listen, if you want to be the good guy all of a sudden, how about you just let me prosecute those murderers anyway? But you want to use everything for a deal. You always want to get a cut." And I hated when she said,
Me too.
"I'm tired of letting you get away with it." I'm like, you don't know them. Like,
Yeah.
why
But
do you
she's-
care
but
so
she's
much?
right.
Okay, maybe, but why does she care so much? I mean, there's so many people getting away with stuff. Why don't you go handle them?
But
What
it's,
is it about Harvey?
not to timestamp an episode, but to compare someone like Ted Cruz to Bernie Sanders. Ted Cruz is an ideologue. His ideals mean more than people. Whereas Bernie Sanders is all about people. So Anita Gibbs, in her mind, no, you and the people you're defending and these murderers and this and that and everything, those people aren't as important as the ideals of the justice system.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous, but played out a little more simply. I think what
But
she's
it's
saying
also
is like she has
very
faith in the system.
Specific. I don't know how to.
But
It's very like
and I think she
attackery,
even
almost.
But she even said that, like, because I'm not taking this deal, because your firm's in shambles, because these things are happening, maybe if you ever do practice law again, you'll think twice before you make a deal instead of actually go to court, or instead of actually... She's against people who take deals and conduct law how Harvey conducts law.
She did a whole bunch of shady crap, and Harvey definitely was like, "Why are you
This
trying to
isn't
act all?"
This isn't the end of Anita Gibbs.
No, not at all.
no.
Yeah.
She can't go out like that because there still has to be something, because she said you've been bending the rules since you were born, and there's just something specific about Harvey that had to have been done
Right.
that really is grinding her gears, because I get what she's saying, that, you know, he's all about cutting the deals and not letting people serve their justice and taking the easy way out, but it still doesn't explain why she's willing to let other people get away with worse stuff than this.
Exactly.
And why this became her focus and her passion project.
Goodness gracious!
Because it's not about other people. It's about
the justice system.
It's about the It's about the ideal that lawyers shouldn't be allowed to cut deals and bend the rules. It's not
She
about
doesn't-
Harvey personally,
That's so
and that's what makes her. That's what makes ideologues scary. Is that they don't go after people; they go after ideals.
Raza Saeed on YouTube says maybe Anita Gibbs is Charles Forsman's girlfriend and taking revenge. Harvey banged her and
Yes.
left
I
her.
love
Wow,
that.
all right.
I love that.
Good
Okay. Is there any other characters or topics that we really want to make sure to? I know we didn't do a lot of Donna. You looked fab like usual. You know, she didn't have as much presence in this episode. She just kind of was making sure to keep sure everybody was on a level head, and we appreciate that. But any other ideas? Did we feel any type of way about Jessica or about any of the other people, Lewis or?
I think everything I'm thinking is a prediction.
Okay.
So,
okay. Well,
but
let's
if
just
any-
hop into it. Let's hop into predictions, you guys.
And now, your AfterBuzz
already done with this
TV
season. Yeah.
predictions.
Okay, so I would love to give you
on
guys
me.
the floor. What are you feeling like
All right.
season 6 is going to look
This
like?
one is vague, and I think this show can handle the topic.
Okay.
I think Rachel's pregnant.
Definitely.
And I don't know what she's going to do, but I think she will debate the A word. Because she's in law school, because she's like the only paralegal at Pearson Specter Lit. And because like she does have because the baby daddy's not around, she's going to debate that and weigh all those options and make a choice. And I think this show is going to handle it very well.
That's a very interesting look.
Also, I don't know what they're going to do as a firm. A couple of people in the chat were saying they'll become ambulance chasers.
Well, they're just they're gonna get to me in a second.
They're gonna become lawyer poachers. I think they're gonna go to, obviously not Zane, but they're gonna go to other firms. Well, first they're gonna have to find money, and hopefully if they can find money, they'll get money to then go around and then poach other lawyers to try to rebuild the firm.
Yeah.
Or get acquired by Zane or acquired by another firm.
Yeah.
So that the stink is off them. I guarantee you, they're gonna have to change the name completely to get the stink of Mike Ross completely off of them.
And that has to happen.
That has to happen
next season.
I mean, I think the moment they walk into an empty firm, the firm is over, which the prophecy continues. Season 6. Sorry, we're on season 5. Season 5, the names changed. Mm-hmm. They went to 0, but the names changed. It's the law firm of blank, blank, and blank.
Okay. We still haven't filled that out yet.
We're just blank.
Do you think okay, do we think, what's his name, Jessica's old boo?
Yes, I was just going to say that.
That's what I was like.
He's coming back.
Does he have a possibility of carrying them, or did he have enough weight in the law system world?
I don't feel there's a weight there. I just feel there's a significance for him to come back.
Okay.
Because that was his boo thing. I feel like they're still in love. There's still things that they need to work out. Right. Kind of ended on a bad foot. He did make an appearance this season. He's coming back.
Okay. I see him coming back, but I think now more than ever, I would love for Jessica to just be like, you know what? We should just be together.
Yeah.
And not work for me. Not like everything's out in the open. Yeah. All the secrets are out. I think we can move past this and just don't give me legal advice at the dinner table. We're just together.
Yeah.
And I'm rebuilding a firm. You're at a firm.
Things are great.
Yeah.
We're just a couple trying to make it in this world.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I have a couple thoughts. I'm not sure that they're full-length predictions, but just thoughts. Number one, I want to see which lawsuits are going to be brought up that had Mike's names attached. So I think we'll see a lot of old cases and old people coming back next season.
But who do they sue? But what law firm did they sue? If everybody left that law firm and then
they're still a firm.
Just nobody works there.
Yeah.
But people
still have lawyers there. They just don't have any.
They can have the heads of the firm just be there and just them. You don't need anyone else.
And you don't even have to sue necessarily. People who are in jail can file
file for an appeal.
Appeals and stuff like that. So I think we're going to see a lot of that. A lot of old characters coming back. I see their office building. Clearly, they're not going to need that much space. They're going to be a lot of lawsuits. Yeah. Not enough money overhead. I see them moving to some place that's dingy and shabby, but then they're still walking in their expensive suits and designer dreads and everything. I see that happening.
Harvey's apartment. They're all working at Harvey's apartment.
And then the last thing is, I think Mike will get out early. I know Gibbs said that she's not cutting off any time, but if prisons in New York are anything like California, overcrowding is a bitch, man. And people get released early all the time just because of overcrowding. Right. So Gibbs, you might have thought you won that battle and you weren't going to get any time off of it, but our legal system is kind of screwy sometimes, and he's going to get out.
When you're a good inmate too, you get rewarded. I feel Mike's going to be a great inmate. He might get into a brawl or two, but I think if anything, he's going to be a voice of reason in jail. He's going to help people in jail who aren't supposed to be there technically, like him. And I foresee him getting out early as well. I'm going to go off to you and say that. I also see Rachel getting pregnant as well. I don't see them getting rid of the office space. I think that's super funny, but this show
I think that's so possible.
It's so and it would be funny.
It'd be really funny.
How long could it last though? Because my favorite thing about this show is that office space.
But you know what? I think it's the first two episodes. The first joke is Lewis flicking a fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could just see
it's Harvey
Lewis being
showing up with his driver.
Go against them to a door. Okay, so my quick things: does Mike become a lawyer against Stefan Gordon?
Yes.
question.
and
That's
I see him doing pro bono stuff, and I see him just trying to always never pro bono. I see him doing it like maybe a little bit.
I'm thinking like, can I see him risking
being a lawyer
again? Like,
well, no, he would need
to give legal advice is one thing to people.
I think for me, because like I said, I didn't see the 2-year jail thing happening because I still assumed that next season he would be able to be some type of lawyer. Like, now I'm thinking, okay, maybe what Steve was saying is more of a possibility. The law life is over, which is just so freaking unfortunate, but the law life is over. There might be, some personal stuff he's doing, government, whatever the case is, but I think the suit for Mike is hung up in that regard.
He walked in jail in a suit.
I'm like, y'all, that's crazy. I totally agree with the Rachel getting pregnant scenario, but I if she does battle it, it's like one episode, you know what I mean, and she keeps it, if that's the case. But what I'm trying to figure out is, do we open the next season in 2 years, because I very much can see a skip through, which would be so irritating, or I could see like we open it, he's like getting beat up, a couple episodes suck, and then like life's cool, and then he gets out. Like, I can't tell, because we're not seeing 2 years.
We're not seeing a 2-year jump. I honestly don't think we're going to see any. The way this has been set up, we're not going to see any more than like a 2-day jump. Like, I don't.
That's what someone in the chat said. They said, "Well, 2 day, you mean 2 day in jail?"
I would like to see at least like 6 months
in jail.
Oh yeah, I'm like,
I would like to see a 6 months.
2 year.
I don't want to see
seasons of jail.
I don't want to see Rachel being angry and crying. I want to see her like 6 months later when she's like dealing with shit.
Someone in the chat said, someone in the chat said, and I haven't checked his Twitter yet, but somebody said that Aaron said that they're not saving any time. That there's going to be no time jump between these seasons.
Okay, maybe not the seasons, but maybe the next episode's got to be. I mean, we're not going to watch a whole season of like
Mike in prison, and then everybody fixing the firm. I think that's exactly what the first 10 episodes of season 7 will. 6 will be.
So much.
All summer. I don't think he's going to get out of prison until the end of this summer.
I mean, everybody's asking about people who we haven't seen in a while too, like Jack Zoloff, enforcement and stuff. I mean, these people have to come back and like wrap up these stories.
Why the hell does enforcement have to come back?
I don't. Well,
because he's awesome.
Yeah,
he gets on my nerves.
Yeah, or there should be a new Gibbs, But Gibbs is kind of the new enforcement to me, or something like that. Just like she's the one that we're all focused on, and we haven't necessarily wrapped things up with her.
I agree.
I can see what you're saying, Steve. I think that for sure next season's going to be really focused on the firm, getting the firm back to what it was, even if it can reach that, and trying to.
I love Tiona's mention of old characters. I think that's such a good idea, and I really can't wait. But we only have a couple seconds left. Go.
I know we're running low on time, but Shakar Shah in the chat just said jump suits. I just thought that was hysterical.
Hilarious.
New show.
I get it.
Jump suits. Also,
get busy living and get busy trying.
Watso275 said yes, Steve is correct. That can just be applied to everything. I don't know.
I
don't know what point specifically you're talking about.
And we're done. Bye, everybody.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us for the rest of this amazing season. We are going to see you season 6. We are so excited. As you can see, we have so many different predictions. We're going to keep tweeting with you and Facebooking and Instagramming and whatever. Just keeping in touch with you guys. You guys have been so awesome. Where can everybody keep in touch with you until the summer?
Well, you guys can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. I'm also on Instagram, Steve_Kaufmann, but I only Instagram on Thursdays.
It's very true. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiona Hobson and Snapchat at Tiona_Hobson.
And you can find me at Nicole Brajer all over the social media world.
Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, for sticking with us all season. We will see you next season. You guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace. And I love you guys, and I'm just can't wait. And I hope Donna and Harvey get together. Okay, bye.
Whoa. Me too. I want a kiss. Okay.
I'm like, I don't want to see you say anything.
Happy baby.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Down to like
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.